Welcome to Heart Midlands Stronger Practice Hub Wellbeing Session. This session on staff wellbeing today will be looking at a range of DFE guidance which will enable you to support yourself and your staff team and colleagues. What we have done is search the available guidance and pick out key aspects which will help you to plan and deliver a wellbeing strategy. The aims of the session today are to provide you with a definition of wellbeing and mindfulness and what this means for individuals and staff teams. We will look at the support that's available to individuals and settings as a whole. We will share examples of wellbeing policies and strategies, and we will provide you with a cycle of short activities that can be used by individuals or as part of wider staff team meetings. Before we go into the what, we need to go into the why. We all know that the early years workforce makes a huge contribution to young children's lives, and a role in early years can be both enjoyable and rewarding. However, it can also be challenging and a very demanding career. As in any workplace, this can take its toll on an individual's mental health and well-being. It is therefore essential that early years practitioners are properly supported within their setting to feel happy and fulfilled both inside and outside of work. And if you're a childminder, your home is also your workplace. Therefore, it is imperative that we each take care of our well-being. Improving practitioner well-being practice can benefit both the individual practitioner and the setting as a whole. This creates a positive environment for practitioners and children, which in turn can reduce absence, increase effectiveness at work, improve practitioner retention. Also, better practitioner well-being is also a positive factor in children's personal, social and emotional development. Next, we have a short video from the Anna Freud National Centre for Children and Families, which explains how managing well-being can help you to develop stronger relationships with children and support their emotional regulation. This is particularly important if you work with children who have their own emotional difficulties. Please follow the link at the side of the picture and it will take you straight to the video. We're going to have some short reflection time now. Just take 5 minutes and think about why you're watching this today. What does well-being mean to you and why you feel we should focus upon well-being? Here is a short list of some of the benefits of realising the importance of staff well-being. I'm pretty sure you've thought of many more. On the screen, you will see 2 definitions of well-being. However, it is important to realise that well-being is a much broader concept than moment-to-moment happiness. We cannot be happy all of the time. This is not natural. Whilst well-being does include happiness, it also includes other things, such as how satisfied people are with their life as a whole, their sense of purpose, and how in control they feel. Therefore, the second definition is broader. It's how people feel, how they function, both on a personal and a social level, and how they evaluate their lives as a whole. It's that much more holistic view of wellness as opposed to just happiness. You will be pleased to know that there is a lot of support out there to help you. The Department for Education Help for Early Years Providers is a website packed full of resources, activities and support articles for childminders and practitioners working with children aged 0 to 5. In the Support for Practitioners section, there is a wellbeing support page. The QR code takes you straight there. On this web page, there is lots of practical support for practitioners. First, we have the Hub of Hope. This is a mental health support directory provided by Chasing the Stigma, which signposts to local, regional and national services, offering support on a wide range of topics, including bereavement, anxiety and loneliness. Again, if you scan the QR code, it will take you straight there. The next area of support available is Every Mind Matters. This provides a source of expert advice to help you and your staff look after your mental health. This includes practical tips that you can build into a daily routine. For example, there is your mind plan quiz where you answer 5 quick questions and you get a free plan to help you deal with stress and anxiety and improve your sleep, boost your mood, and feel more in control. Education support also have a free helpline for staff. Staff also have the option to a live chat or email. There is a QR code for you to download the poster for your staff rooms or maybe add into your policy. Just a bit of further information. When people call the helpline, the team will find out why they are calling and choose the best person for you to speak to. Depending on your needs, they might deal with your call personally and offer emotional support straight away, or connect you to one of their other services, such as grants or information. They may assist you with a referral for a long-term treatment, so for example, to your GP. Staff will be talking to a trained counsellor. Education support also have another number of resources that can be found on this page. For example, sleep techniques, health and lifestyle, and exercise. The resource on the screen is drawn from experiences of staff. It includes survey findings which give you an insight into what others in the earlier sector think and to start a discussion in your own setting. Each setting is different, but learning from others and reflecting on your own experiences are key to improvement. Wellbeing is not just a one activity. It needs to be placed at the heart of any organisation and be sustained. Over the next few slides, we're going to look at some of the activities which are in this resource. These can be used in team meetings or individually. It is important that you put a lot of preparation into opening up this topic. You need to be prepared to the fact that you may be opening up something that may make some people feel uncomfortable, and it can be daunting, and therefore it is important that everybody feels safe. This resource gives you some top tips. It helps you to establish some ground rules and gives you a structure. It explores about letting people know in advance when the meeting is being planned and what the time is. It also invites people to talk to you about it in advance in case they may have any questions or are worried about well-being. The last one, remember you can use the links that are provided in earlier slides. The first activity that you can try to introduce the session is just to ask staff to go into small groups and just ask them to focus on a number of key questions. First one, what do they like about their work? The second one, what do they find stressful? On the screen, you will see the findings of the report that we shared earlier. Some of the key indicators that increase staff stress with the amount of information needed for planning and assessments, SEND, safeguarding, and multi-agency working, as this increased pressure on time and pressure on staff. Staff also felt that they were forgotten in this sector and they were being treated as glorified babysitters. When looking and exploring some of the wonderful things that staff really enjoyed about their roles, is that no 2 days were the same, and the things that the children do and say make them laugh every day. The next activity that we're going to share with you from the Early Years Wellbeing resource is how we can learn from others. As you can see on the screen, these are the results of the survey that was conducted with staff teams. Share the results with your team and see if there are any common features or if you have identified any other features which may cause you stress or make you feel unhappy at work over the last 2 weeks. So then, after reading the results, have a team discussion and look to see the following questions. So we've briefly mentioned about happiness, but then building on that, what would improve your levels of happiness at work? Then there's support at work. So what mental health and wellbeing support is available to you? How is mental health and wellbeing supported and promoted in your setting? And what additional support do you think your setting could offer? Then we move on to the wellbeing policy. Do you have a wellbeing policy? If you do, does everybody know about it? Have practitioners contributed to the policy, and how visible is it? Lastly, we have stress at work. So we have a discussion about what causes you stress in your setting and what could reduce stress in the setting as well. At the end of the discussion, decide what actions you will take, and remember your actions should be in ratio. So realistic, can you do it in your setting? Achievable, is it sensible and a practical idea? Time bound, what time frames will the action take place? Implementable, what will be your first steps to getting this done? And observable, what will practitioners see that is different? The next activity that we have that you can do either individually as an SLT or as a staff team is look at report findings. So the resource identifies 4 key areas that could make a difference to well-being of nursery and preschool staff, and it's a starting point to focus upon when looking at your strategy. So supporting others looks at being open, having communication, being transparent and clear about your work challenges and stresses. It delves into the fact that teams should know each other, as this helps communication. Also, when we know each other, we would then be able to better spot when others are struggling. It also ensures that we each know the resilience of others, which will help when a challenging situation arises. We may be able to offer better support if we know how resilient others are. Other areas include making time for each other, checking in, or providing fun team building activities. Supportive management gives tips to leaders on how you can recognise and support others, including good news boards, compliments notes, open door policy, peer-to-peer support. It also discusses an important point that managers sometimes act as a container for other stress and a buffer against external factors that threaten staff morale, and managers also need others to both within and outside of the setting, and staff also need to know this. Physical environments look at access to safe spaces such as staff room, creature comforts such as tea and coffee, fruit baskets. Outside support is just that. How do you look to provide opportunities to network, undertake training, promote self-care? It is important to note that each individual needs to be proactive and maintain their own healthy choices. This gets back to that open and honest discussions. As you can see here from the slide, there is an audit for you to complete. If you follow the QR code, it will take you directly to the audit. Education support also have an audit that you can use. What is really good about education support articles is it tells you how long the guides will take to read. As you can see from the screen, this guide takes approximately 1 minute. This is designed for a school, however, you can adapt some of the terminology for a nursery setting. If you are looking to devise a policy, we have found 2 trusted sources of wellbeing policies. The first is the National Day Nurseries Association. They have provided a free policy for early years. To access this, just follow the link below and register. You then add this to your cart and download and adapt to your setting. The second is from St John's Ambulance. However, it is always good practice to ensure that staff are part of this process, because we know that if staff are involved, they feel and take ownership, which also supports wellbeing. Over the next set of slides, we have put together some activities that you can do individually or part of a staff team. The first looks at the circle of control. Share this poster with your staff teams. As you can see, the inner circles are the things that are in your control. The outer circles are things that are out of your control. So, for example, things that you can control. You can control your thoughts, your words, your actions. Things you cannot control are other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, and other people's ideas. Then go on to have a discussion about how we all try and fix things. I think it's in our human nature to have an answer to fix issues. Realising that a lot of things are out of our control is quite liberating. However, that's not to say that we should not care about, for example, what happens around us, but knowing that we cannot control them helps to alleviate stress. After sharing the poster, next you can move on to the circle of control reflection activity. Feeling anxious at work can impact on our well-being, and when you feel like you have a little control over a situation, it's harder to do things that may help. So you can use these circles of control to separate what you can and you can't control and focus on the things that you can change. So, first of all, write down what you were worried about and how and what might worry about in the future. Next, draw two circles on a piece of paper. In the central circle, write down what you have control over, and in the outer circle, write everything that you can't control. Choose one of the worries in the inner circle to focus on. The next activity that you can complete either individually or as part of the staff team is stress mapping and self-care strategy questionnaires. Being able to recognise your stress and understanding why this might be can help lower your stress levels. Try this activity to understand how you respond to stress and therefore what self-care strategies will work for you. So, as you can see from the questionnaire on the other side of the screen, you have 4 key questions. It asks you to try and think back to a time in where you felt stressed. This could be in your personal life or at work. So it asks you to remember what thoughts you went through your mind. So thoughts you have when you're feeling stressed, feelings you experience when you're stressed, physical sensations you may experience when you feel stressed, or behaviours you engage with when you're feeling stressed. Practicing the art of mindfulness can help reduce stress levels. Breathing exercises are one way in which to do this. These reduce your flight or fight response by lowering stress levels. On the screen, you will see 2 different types of breathing exercise, one for relaxation and one to increase energy. We're going to practice the one for relaxation. It's going to take just 2 minutes just to practice this. So if I can ask you to sit or lie down and get comfortable, but try very hard not to fall asleep. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your breath. Let your chest and your abdomen rise as you inhale and fall again as you exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Can you feel the breath in your lungs as it comes in and out? Can you feel the air entering your nostrils and slowly, quietly calming your thoughts? If I can ask you to bring your full attention to your steady and rhythmic breathing. In and out. After a few moments, your attention may wander. You may start to think or be worrying about something else. That's natural and totally okay. When it happens, acknowledge the thought and then let it slowly, gently float away, and return your focus onto your breathing, letting your chest and your abdomen rise as you inhale and fall again as you exhale. In and out. Just starting to relax any sounds or noises that you hear around you. Let them float away and concentrate on your breathing. In and out. Any thoughts that enter your mind, acknowledge them and then let them gently float away. As we enter the end of the guided meditation, slowly start to listen to any noises that you hear to bring you back into the present. The physical sensations in your body starting to be reawakened as you start to gently open your eyes. Next, we're going to introduce black and white thinking and embracing those shades of grey. No plan, child, day, practitioner, or leader can ever be perfect. So, Why do we strive for perfection? It's okay to have high standards in the workplace, as caring about your work can truly be an asset to your setting. But better understanding of perfectionist behaviour and letting go of rigid all or nothing thinking can help you to preserve your energy while still being there for your children and colleagues. We know that staff are under frequent amounts of pressure, observations, Ofsted, parents, the list goes on. But there are many reasons why striving for perfection might be so prevalent in education. For one thing, educators care deeply about their children and the purpose of their work. This is one of the things that makes our jobs such a rewarding career. But this same sense of purpose could make it tricky to accept human errors and promote a culture of constantly striving, no matter the cost. As a perfectionist, black and white thinking can be a common occurrence, and as we strive to achieve the impossible state of perfect. A machine may be able to perform tasks without error, but as human beings, we were never intended to be perfect. It can be quite liberating to find life's shades of grey and accept that things are often complicated. Letting go of rigid all or nothing thinking is one strategy you can use to stop yourself trying to fit into unattainable categories. So you can adapt these for early years. So embrace these shades of grey. It does take time to reframe your thinking, and it does require some practice. On the screen, there is a QR code which takes you to this page. It looks and gives you examples of what black and white thinking is, but then it also gives you the alternative. So, for example, if the children don't get perfect grades, you've failed them as a teacher. Embracing those shades of grey and thinking differently and reframing your mind is all about thinking you've done your best, the best that you can for the children. Your influence is only part of the story. Their achievements are not solely a reflection on you. So that change in mindset really does help to alleviate stress levels, and also getting back to the circle of control, looking at things that you can control and things that you can't. Another activity you can share with your staff team is gratitude diaries. Ask staff to try, and yourself, to try and visualise something positive about each working day, even the really, really tough ones. Visualise those situations you've handled really well and hold those memories in your mind when going into stressful situations. That said, writing down the things that inspire feelings of gratefulness have been shown to improve psychological health by reducing feelings of anxiety, depression, and other symptoms commonly associated with mental health and illness. As you can see from the quote on the screen, the more you practice the art of thankfulness, the more you have to be thankful for. Again, it's about reframing and practicing those positive thoughts and positive thinking. Next, we have the jars of strength. If you work in a group setting, give each member of the team an empty jar and ask them to put their name on the jar. If you have time, you can provide creative materials for them to decorate the jar. Then next, give each member of the team a set of post-it notes. Ask each member of the team to write a strength or a personal quality that each person has and pop it into the jar. Allow time to read the wonderful comments that colleagues have made about each other. For people that are working on their own, find an empty jar and decorate it with your favourite colours and favourite things. Over the next week, every day, write down things that you like about yourself. At the end of the week, take time to reread what you have written and celebrate how wonderful you are. Next, we have a session titled A Mindful Snack. We have a link here from our session that was run by our colleagues in Glasgow. The whole PowerPoint is really useful, but if you just like a short activity, then at the beginning of the session, they facilitate a mindful snack activity. Next, we look at self-gratitude. Either individually or as a staff team, use the questionnaire below to answer the following questions. We often take time to show gratitude to others, but it's really important as part of our self-care that we show ourselves thanks and gratitude. Remember to speak to yourself and about yourself in a way that you would speak about somebody else you care about. Often we can speak more negatively or critically about ourselves in a way that we would never speak about somebody else. It is important to recognise the impact on ourselves and our well-being when we do this. The checklist that you can see contains different ideas and suggestions and ways that you can show yourself some self-gratitude. And as you can see from the quote, gratitude is one of the most powerful human emotions. Once expressed, it changes attitudes, brightens outlook, and broadens our perspective. So there's a set of questions. Just go through it yourselves or ask your staff team. Just a tick if you've done this. So one of them, buy yourself a gift such as new clothes or a new book. Do you ever write down positive thoughts about yourself and say them out loud? Do you ever spend some time outside and enjoy the world around you? Because there are well documented benefits of spending time within nature. Have a look at these, and any ones that you think, I haven't done that for a while, over the next week, concentrate on making sure that those happen. On the screen, we have prepared for you a set of positive affirmation cards that you can either use individually or discuss in staff teams. So print them off, cut them up, and then deal them out. And then just ask each person to read the question out loud and answer it. So, for example, what is one of your favourite things to do to improve your mood? Another one is, if you could travel to any destination, where would it be? The whole idea of positive affirmation cards is, again, it's changing that mindset, looking for the positive and thinking about the positive, because that really helps to alleviate stress. Good quality sleep can set you up to face the challenges of everyday life. Yet these challenges can also create feelings of anxiety that get in the way of a good night's sleep. A 2023 Teacher Wellbeing Index showed that over half of teachers and education staff suffer with insomnia. On the screen, you can see 9 top tips for a good night's sleep. There is also a QR code which you can follow, which takes you directly to these pages. If you would like to contact us, please follow any of the QR codes on screen. We also have a dedicated website with lots of CPD opportunities and resources to help and support you within your role. If you enjoyed the previous meditation session, follow the link on the screen to take you to a 3-minute breathing space exercise to use with yourself or your staff teams. On the screen, we have some useful links to help and support you with your wellbeing strategies.